a service of CNC Worldwide.
CNC Podcasts are a service of CNC Worldwide, brought to you by the Greece Chamber of Commerce, providing more than 800 member companies with business solutions since 1984. A special Greece school board meeting did not end in Athena High School soccer coach Bill Huber getting his job back. As it turned out, the board had ended up calling Coach Huber back a second time just to fire him again. Huber has been 25 years with Athena High Soccer, and for the last 12 years he coached the boys' varsity team. On July 5th, the board voted not to renew his contract, even though Greece Central's superintendent and Athena's athletic director both recommended he be kept on. Huber and his supporters were hoping the coach would be rehired at the special meeting. But after an executive session, the board voted 5-4 not to reinstate him, and the meeting ended in cries of shame from the audience and a confrontation between the ousted coach and board president Sean McCabe.
And this is why people in this district do not trust the school board and do not trust its administration.
President McCabe voted along with Frank Oberg, Terry Malore, and Bill Maloney to keep Coach Huber as head of the Athena program. Julia Van Orman, Adam Crandall, Gail O'Toole, Lisa Christoffel, and Joe Grinnan voted no. That left Huber asking reporters what he'd done wrong.
So this, to me, was a personal vendetta against me, and that's the only thing I can say. And you'll have to ask the board members why they voted no, and they're going to stand behind some executive session privilege and confidentiality. I give them my blessing to tell everybody what I did wrong.
Board members didn't explain their votes. Athena's varsity practice camp is supposed to start next week. As Huber's assistant coach says he's quit because of this issue, the school needs a new soccer coach in a hurry. The Rochester woman accused of mowing down another woman while she rode a bike last week pled not guilty in city court. Kara Baker is accused of striking Mary Moore on Clifford Avenue, then leaving the scene. The complaint filed in court accuses Baker of smoking 12 bags of crack before she got behind the wheel. It also says Baker's license has been suspended 23 times. Assistant District Attorney Tim Prosperi says he'll introduce surveillance video that shows Baker striking Moore on her bike, getting out of her SUV, stepping over Moore to yank the bike out from under her vehicle, then hitting Moore a second time as she drove away. Moore suffered critical injuries, including 2 broken hips. Cleanup continues after Monday's flash floods, people salvaging what they can from flooded homes and businesses in Livingston, Ontario, and Monroe counties. Highway crews in the hard-hit town of Avon put a couple of washed-out roads back in service with temporary fill and gravel patches. The town estimates road and infrastructure damage will be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Livingston County Sheriff Thomas Doherty lifted the boating advisory for Canisius Lake. The treasurer of the Leroy Fire Department in Genesee County has been arrested for embezzling nearly $50,000 in department funds. Dennis Snow is charged with 2 counts of grand larceny, plus 42 counts of forgery and 2 of falsifying business records. He was caught by a state audit. State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli says Snow forged signatures to make unauthorized transfers, withdrawals, and deposits from the department's account and from the Firemen's Benevolent Association. He allegedly used the money to pay his personal bills. A 31-year-old Rochester native will be the next music director of the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra. Ward Stair was chosen by the RPO directors after an 18-month search. He replaces Arild Remerite, whose stormy tenure was hailed artistically but caused turmoil in the orchestra management. The RPO's 12th music director was born and raised in Pittsford. He is currently a freelance guest conductor based out of Chicago, but he also put in 4 years as resident conductor at the St. Louis Symphony.
It's a little bit surreal for me to be standing here next to the RPO logo in front of my community addressing you as the new music director because, of course, all of my first musical experiences took place in Eastman Theater. Listening to the Rochester Philharmonic for the very first time, hearing that wonderful sound of live music.
Stair says the joy of being on the podium is interacting with the entire orchestra. He says he wants to work for a broad repertoire that also includes something in each concert the audience can relate to, and he says that's how you build a relationship with the listeners. The woman who left her job with the Avon Central School District to become principal of Monroe High School in Rochester has been assigned a different school instead. Barbara Zelazny will become principal of Northwest College High School at the Douglas campus, replacing Dr. Mary Aronson. The city's schools decided not to put Zelazny at Monroe after a protest over replacing Armando Ramirez as principal. They assigned a former Monroe principal, Vicky Ramos, there instead. The Webster Central School District has named Carmen Gomina interim superintendent while it looks for a permanent replacement for Adele Bovard. Gomina has been with Webster Central for 25 years as a teacher, principal, and currently deputy superintendent. A letter to parents from the Board of Education says Gomina has wide experience as an educator and an administrator and will keep the district on track through the search process. They plan to have a permanent superintendent named by next July. Your next CNC podcast is whenever you click on one of these pages and catch one. We post updates all through the day as necessary. I'm Bud Lowell, CNC News.